Hey everybody, I'm Brad.
I'm Angie. Welcome.
Yep, welcome to the Dumb Crumb. This is episode 6.
I knew you were going to say that. I think it's 6 or 7, actually.
Okay, well, we're 6 or 7. We are rolling along.
Heading into the holiday season.
Yes. And for this week, this is actually, part of this episode will be something for a request that we've gotten from a fan. We were requested to cover the debate between sweet potato and pumpkin pie since we're heading into the holiday season. And we actually decided, since as few of our viewers have noticed, we like doing a lot of taste tests. We decided just to kind of talk about pies in general. We actually have, even though you can't see them, you will as we start kind of taste testing them. We have a lot of pies out here, and we will eventually get to the sweet potato and pumpkin pie debate and kind of give you our opinions on them. But I guess to kind of launch into a little bit of the research, we've kind of...
You're going to launch into a pie raid?
Yes, a pie raid, I guess, so to speak.
Oh, that just came to me. That was funny.
But
yes.
Pies, and kind of researching pies, where they kind of come from. Pies in general have really changed a lot since what we consider the modern pies that we'll kind of get into later. Pies really originally started out with being cooked in just kind of a clay oven. Really just people would throw meat into a clay oven, and then the clay part would be kind of considered what we would consider the dough today. Mm-hmm. So then all the juices would fall out, and the meat would be, and whatever they'd be cooking in there, meat, fruit, veggies, whatever, all the juices would fall out. The meat would be very tough and dry. So then the Egyptians, or really kind of the Greeks, people think, kind of came up with the idea they need to start wrapping this. So they would start wrapping originally in like reeds, plants, so the juices would kind of be contained. So then the Greeks kind of really started this intensely, putting in meats, seasonings. Then that was adopted by the Greeks, who liked a bit of a sweeter pie, a savory pie, and they even had kind of somewhat of a cheesecake. Then you really kind of got into the Europeans, where we would really see more of the dough that we kind of would start somewhat seeing today, except that the dough that they used, when they started getting away from the clay pots, the dough would be very thick, several inches thick. Because they would use that to put all the meat and the seasonings, the fruit and veggies, whatever inside. They would put whole birds. At the time, songbirds were considered a delicacy, so you would put songbirds. So they put like whole peacocks or songbirds, everything done in there, and cook it. And they would cook it in the dough, and at the time they called it coffins, not what we consider a coffin today, very dreadful use for burying bodies. And the dough would be so thick that it would cook for hours.
Mm-hmm. Like 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah, or even longer, because it was used to pretty much, keep all the juices and the savoriness inside, and then they would just eat the fillings.
Mm-hmm. And just discard the dough then?
Well, no, actually the dough sometimes would be used for, they would sometimes use the very thick, almost burned or inedible dough, to the way we kind of use a roux in a stew. Or the only people that you would see ever eating this, basically disposable coffin, as they would call it, would be your very poor, or people who would go and beg at the wealthy gates.
Scraps.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Interesting.
So, like I said, they would use a lot of like meats, where you get like meat pies. And then a lot of that carried over. The pilgrims, came over, and a lot of people, a lot of the poor would make the meat pies because it took a lot less flour. Mm-hmm. To make a meat. So as you came over now into America, and we started getting more, Americanized, not only was a pie used less flour, but the idea behind the pie was kind of a working man's dish, and it was used, a lot was made during the winter, because the pie was used to kind of seal up the ingredients inside during the winter months to keep things from spoiling. And your working man would go out and would then cut and take a large slice of pie to eat. Mm-hmm. So during the winter months, a lot of pies would be made to keep all the ingredients basically stored for the winter and keep them from spoiling. So they would cook the insides. But then as people spread out throughout the United States, you started seeing a lot more sweeter pies and pies made out of the ingredients at hand, like apple pies or places where blueberries grow. You start seeing blueberry pies, or down in Florida, key lime pies, as things spread out. But even still, the sweetness, a lot of the sweetness was not always there. So when people started making apple pies, the apples were generally unsweetened.
Very tart.
Very
Different types
tart.
of apples,
Yes,
of course.
very different types of apples. But then pie has become kind of the American, go-to dessert. Nothing as American as apple pie, is the saying that's out there. But you still had the savoriness of the meat pie, which kind of goes back to people wonder where the word pie came from, which generally people kind of go to the Oxford Dictionary to where they think it came from the word magpie, because generally the pie is round like a bird's nest, like a magpie's nest, and a magpie generally would take pretty much anything it could find and would build it into this round, sturdy nest, and pies are generally round. The dough is sturdy, and people fill it with anything you can find ingredients, which kind of goes back to as America was settled and made. Again, anything that could be found could be made into a pie. I even found during research, apple pie was so popular that during the Depression, when I guess apples were scarce, you never really think today apples being scarce are actually not really that expensive.
Because there's about a gazillion varieties.
Yes, a gazillion varieties. Like you said, they grow on trees, But Ritz Cracker actually put on the back of their box during the Depression a mock apple pie, where you would actually, because Ritz Crackers were so cheap, you would soak Ritz Crackers, crush them up, and soak them in sugar water, and you would make a mock apple pie with Ritz Crackers instead of apples. And it was supposedly, and doing some of the research of this, and even people that make them today, it's very hard to tell that there are not apples in the pie that you make with Ritz Crackers instead.
That blows my mind.
So it's a lot of very interesting things. Some of the research of olden people would make crow pie, and the crow legs were so sturdy they would leave the feet sticking out to use as handles to carry the thick pie out of the oven. So yes, there was a lot of different...
Maybe I could have lived without knowing that part.
Yes, there was a lot of...
This is fascinating.
A lot of interesting things. You could almost, the history of America, you can almost see in pies as they kind of developed. So that was really kind of some of the history that we have. As we kind of go through some of these, I may think of some other things I might have missed, but we have a lot of pies to kind of get through. Where do you think we should start?
Well, since we have a couple of the savory ones, let's start there. So then when we have dessert later, it'll feel right instead of...
Yes, and so much of the history came up with the savory pies. We did kind of start thinking we would start with probably America's probably biggest version of the meat pie, which is the pot pie. So I decided to keep with the most biggest selling version of the pot pie, which is Banquet. So I went with the most popular one, the chicken pot pie. And of course, their biggest sellers are chicken, turkey, and beef. And then I went with something which was an off, which just sounded interesting, that either I thought was going to be delicious or horrible, the sausage gravy.
Which, when you told me that, I was like, that's new to me. And that's also a Banquet product?
It is a Banquet product.
Huh. Meant to be for breakfast?
Or any time, really, because I will eat biscuits and gravy any time.
It's true.
Yes. So I thought this would be interesting to try. And in looking at it, they have they've branched out into the dessert area too. They have apple, cherry, various ones you can buy. A berry pie, I do believe. So let's give these a try. And
so which one's which?
I don't know.
All right, so I guess we got to find out.
Yes.
I'm going to say this one's the turkey or the chicken. I'm sorry, right?
Yes.
It says chicken.
Although honestly, I don't think we could tell the difference between tasting the chicken or the turkey.
No, I would agree. Beef, yes, but...
Yes. No.
Tastes like a Banquet chicken pot pie.
Yes. And I ate a ton of these as a kid. If it was something where I got to pick something, quick, because my mom we were at the store, we had to buy something that we were going to put in the freezer that I had to, eat for lunch or something on a Saturday. The pot pie was generally what I normally liked. I loved pot pies. And I love the taste of these. I would still eat them today.
Is there potatoes in there?
There are potatoes in here.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I feel like you would have to have like a side of mashed potatoes. to eat this with, but I didn't know there's actually potatoes in there.
Yes, there are potatoes in these.
Okay.
And I do like these. I will say for these, they make these now where it says you can cook them in the microwave and get that crispy crust. These are not as good in the microwave, which is the way I cooked these, getting ready for the show, as they are in the
oven.
In the oven, much better in the oven. Yes,
most things are.
Yes,
I like the crust though.
Yeah, it is still good. Good flavor.
Mm-hmm. Very salty.
Yes, very salty.
Mega sodium.
Yes.
So are they cheap? Like $1?
Yeah, I think these are like $1.33.
Okay, let's try it, guys. Somewhere around there.
You can find. They still have off brands, which are still tasty because of all the preservatives and sodium and stuff. It still tastes just as good, usually for like 50 cents.
Right.
So, you can buy off-brand pot pies, and they're still just as good.
Yeah.
Although a lot of them don't have that bottom crust on them, which is the reason you can buy them so cheap. And technically, that is not a pie. A pie has to have the bottom crust.
And Swanson does have the bottom crust. That's their...
Banquet does. Actually, yes, Banquet does. And I think Swanson, I believe, do. But some of the off-brands will not. And technically, that's not a pie.
So what is it then?
Not a pie. That was one of the things in research. That was one of the rules. It has to have a bottom crust to be a pie.
We don't know what it is. The bottom crust has to have a bottom crust. I did not know that. Learn something new every day.
Yes. Now, this next one will be the sausage then.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by this one.
Hopefully I cooked it long enough. Or maybe it's just the texture of it.
It looks...
Well...
Like biscuits and gravy?
It tastes like biscuits and gravy.
Oh, man.
And, I wish I hadn't cooked it long ago, or as long ago, so it was a little bit hotter. But, yeah, I like it all right.
I would almost have to have that topped with eggs and some hash browns.
It's actually better than what they have at McDonald's. I like this better than McDonald's biscuits and gravy that I've had.
I don't think I've had it before.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm actually.
Yeah, I would almost. Yeah, just throw some hash browns on top and some eggs, and
that's good.
That could be breakfast.
That's pretty good.
And that's also Banquet?
Yes, that's also Banquet.
Interesting.
That's a
It's good.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's good. I actually like that better than the chicken. I guess because maybe it's new. I've never had it before.
It's good.
Okay.
Very good.
Where to now?
Well, let's maybe
cleanse the
palate. Very good. No ginger here. Let's do the fruit pies. So we have 4 of those.
And we have probably what everyone will know, the pies. We have Hostess fruit pies. We wanted to try those.
I think we got to talk about how they're packaged. So we opened these up before the show, and I opened the box, and I was a little bit surprised that when you open the box, they're not wrapped in plastic. They're not wrapped in any paper.
Nothing to protect them. They're just in the box.
So that kind of made me laugh, actually.
Yeah, I've not had a Hostess pie, or really even a generic pie like this in a long time.
They're kind of heavy.
They are kind of heavy.
They're heavy.
They've got some heft to them. As far as a pie, one other, and again, this was in researching pies. One of the rules I found, and this was from some official pie site, that a pie had to be baked. And I don't know if these are baked or not. From a pie like this, normally I've seen like fried pies. So I don't know if I would officially, go by a pie has to be baked. I'm all for fried pies. I've had fried chocolate pies growing up. So.
I don't think pumpkin. It's not baked, is it?
Yeah, pumpkin pie is baked.
Is it baked?
Yes.
I don't know anything about cooking. I told you what I know.
And I know some chocolate pies that you whip up some instant pudding and dump them in a pie crust. To me, that's pie. So.
But that's what I'm saying. If you get the canned pumpkin stuff, you don't have to bake that, right? Or do you?
Can
you just put it in the refrigerator?
No, if it's not, I believe you still have to. If you mix in some of the ingredients and egg and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, never mind.
So we have apple and cherry. Technically they call these fruit pies.
It almost looks like, well, I said this before the show, it's like an empanada, like a shape, definitely.
Yes.
But it almost has like a frosting layer on it almost. So it almost gives the kind of look like a donut almost.
It does. You buy a lot of these for your kids, or I guess a quick item to take with your lunch.
And these are super cheap.
These are super cheap, and these are like the farthest thing from real pie that you will possibly get, because they are just all sugar, and I like making my own homemade pies, and these are definitely something that or the farthest, you give these to a kid, I had these as a kid and enjoyed them because Hostess pie.
You know what I think this tastes like? This pie kind of tastes. It kind of tastes like America today.
Well, yeah, that's a good.
The convenience that we are.
Yes, the convenience. That's a good thing.
It's kind of.
And here's the amazing thing to me, and I don't think it's just because I'm colorblind. We have apple and cherry, and if you hold them side by side, you honestly can't really tell that there's much difference. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try this one then. I don't know if I can taste the difference in flavor, really. Yeah. Not awful.
No, it's not, like I said, it's definitely, you know what you're getting with Hostess. And
it's kind of like our Lay's chips from last week.
Yes.
Like, they're never going to be our go-to, but is it terrible? Absolutely not. Yeah.
No, you really can't. You really honestly can't taste hardly any difference between the apple and the cherry. And I'm not a fan of, homemade cherry pie. And for the fact, if I did not know that had come out of a box that said cherry pie, I would not guess that I was eating cherry pie.
What would you guess? You have any idea?
No, you could tell me that I was eating like a spiced apple pie.
And you'd be like, okay. And
I would be like, okay. Yeah, the only thing I would tell you on that was that I was eating a Hostess pie. I could not tell you that I was eating a cherry pie with that.
Yeah. Now you can microwave these too.
Yes.
Like you could if you wanted to warm it up a little bit and throw some ice cream on it. Which brings up actually a good point.
Or just throw them away.
Or that.
Yes.
So that brings up a debate. What do they call it with ice cream? The pie a la mode?
A la mode, yes. And
then you can also do some pies with whipped cream. So what's your opinion on whipped cream?
I can take it or leave it. I like a la mode. I like actually for apple pie, apple pie is not one of my favorites, but if you put vanilla ice cream on it, it completely changes apple pie to be hot apple pie.
Okay.
Because I love the juice, not so much the apples. As a matter of fact, I generally will be some apples left, but the crust and the juice for the apples, and then the ice cream when it's melting. It's
vanilla ice cream.
Yeah, it's completely different dessert than for me.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of whipped cream on pie, or really ice cream. I could eat both,
Yeah.
But normally I would rather just actually have the pie itself and nothing really on top of it.
That's the thing. A lot of the places you go, if you're at a dinner or something, they have the pie set out. They already put the whipped cream on.
Yeah.
That's fine, but
I'm gonna scrape it off anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll have it if it's there. But if I normally just cut a piece of pie, I'm never going to put whipped cream on that. I don't normally do that.
The color of this apple pie in this Hostess looks almost like earwax. The color of earwax.
Yes.
That's
rush out and buy Hostess now, people.
I just glanced at it and I thought it looks like earwax. So we're gonna put these over here.
Yes, those are.
Okay.
Then we also got something that was kind of when I was talking about and kind of reading, and I saw one of these, I wanted to get it and try it. People as they spread out regionally, and people moved in where lemons were kind of growing. I got a lemon pie.
Very summery, citrus.
Yes, and I haven't had lemon pie in a long time, so I couldn't actually remember if I liked it or not.
I don't think I've ever had it. Lemon meringue, yes.
Yeah, lemon meringue.
Not
lemon. I was like, but just straight lemon pie, which I'm assuming is probably going to be a lot like lemon meringue. Well, maybe not because it has no meringue on it, but it's a straight lemon pie with sugar-free.
Yeah, so I was just going to mention that, so there's a lot of varieties now where if you're diabetic or you're watching your sugar intake, you can do the sugar-free, which I personally am not, would not seek that out for me, but for the name of the Dumb Crumb, for the sake of the Dumb Crumb, I'm going to try the sugar-free.
We didn't buy a whole, it's very small.
That's very bite-sized almost.
Yes, I wanted to, we would try it.
Yeah, I never had lemon. Lemon bars, yes. Lemon cake, but never lemon pie.
Well, I put lemon in sweet tea, and that's pretty much it.
So, did you read anything about why some pies, such as the pumpkin and sweet potato, which we'll talk about, don't have that additional crust on top where, your fruit pies do? Is there a reason for that, or?
I think it may just be because it's a custard pie. I didn't really get into the history of it.
Okay.
That's okay. That's good. That's a little bit more of a tartar more of a savorier type pie. That's all right.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
And
they have
it's
to
not
come home
overly
with me.
sweet. Yeah. Oh, it can. That's fine. A lot of these leftovers can because we got more.
Well, you mentioned the tart.
Yeah.
And even though we're in November, I feel like I have to mention, I'm making a mess here.
That's all right.
I have to mention my absolute favorite pie of all time, which is a gooseberry. And gooseberry is obviously a pie that's really popular in the summertime. It's not easy to find. You can't go into your local store and find gooseberry. You usually have to know someone that actually can make it. But that is my absolute favorite. A piece of that with a cup of coffee, just black, is like heaven on earth to me. But this is actually good. This surprised me. It does not have that weird aftertaste that you get with a lot of sugar-free products.
No, that's
so
good.
I actually like this one.
That's good.
Oh, good. Good for
Much better than the obviously over sweetness of the Hostess pies.
Oh my, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now we have we bought another one kind of like the sugar-free. We have a no sugar added apple pie, which just relies on the sweetness of the apples. So I'm guessing maybe they must have used like a Golden Delicious or some sweeter apple. Yeah. Definitely not a Granny Smith. Not a Granny Smith.
And this was the no sugar added.
Yes, the no sugar added.
Almost looks kind of peach-like from here.
It does. Actually, I like that too.
What's the brand of these?
That's a good question.
That's good. They're both really good.
Yeah. Just distributed by Walmart.
Okay.
So we will.
Well, yeah.
We will just.
I gotta say.
Okay.
Yeah, so this could be good, like if you were having a party
So,
and someone was diabetic, and you didn't want to buy like a whole, sugar-free pie. You could maybe just have a couple of these, and they can pick, and they can eat a whole one and not feel guilty about it. Those are pretty good.
Here's what your friendship's worth.
Yeah, and I like the crust on these. They have they got a good, nice crisp crust.
It's actual real crust. Yeah, it's a real crust. And that's pretty good.
It's got the kind of the anomalies in the crust a little bit, so it kind of doesn't look super,
It doesn't look like it was
manufactured.
It looks like it was actually hand rolled.
Right.
And it is. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like it.
Good.
I'm impressed.
Now we're kind of getting into the kind of the more pies you'd recognize now, kind of the fancier pies. Mm-hmm. And this is a chocolate pie, Hershey's chocolate cream pie.
I don't think I can eat this one. It doesn't even look appealing to me.
Really? This looks just like a chocolate pudding pie to me.
Well, and I think maybe why I look at it and I'm like, because I really want it to be cheesecake, and it's not.
Oh, no, it's definitely not cheesecake.
It's not cheesecake. So we're going to do a show in the future about cheesecake. But, I'm not
It has the, the proper graham crust.
So it's the Hershey's cream pie is what it's called. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pass on this one.
It's a
whipped cream on it?
It's just it's okay. It would appeal to kids.
Is it like a French silk pie?
Yeah.
Similar? Okay.
That's what it kind of tastes like.
But
yeah. It's you can definitely, in the Hershey's part, it's got a, kind of where the French silk has like a chocolate drizzle on it. That's what the Hershey's part is. Other than that, it's kind of like a pudding.
So, I know we did a show about this a few weeks ago. And I was thinking about this on the way over here tonight, that there's actually a couple of movies that I can think of that reference pie, infamous pie scenes. What are the two movies I'm thinking of?
American Pie.
American Pie is one, and what's the other one? And actually, the chocolate pie reminded me of that. Have you seen The Help?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay. So watchers out there and listeners, they'll know what I'm referring to. You should just Google The Help chocolate pie scene. And we won't say anything more than that.
And we'll drink a little water after that. That one is
very sweet.
It is very sweet, and I'm not actually a big fan of chocolate pies.
Yeah, I'm not either.
You had mentioned French silk, so I got that one. But that one's kind of a Yeah.
I think you're right. I think kids would love it.
Yeah, kids would definitely like this. Yeah. I've never been a big fan of that. Now the next one we have is a kind of one that definitely came out from the cookies and cream craze of ice cream, which was like the biggest seller, biggest ice cream seller forever, it seemed. But it's a cookies and cream pie. Definitely playing off of that. We'll see what we like. This is the type of pie that I normally would not pick myself.
No, I'm more of a fruit pie person, or like a pumpkin or sweet potato.
Yeah, I'm definitely, and I'm more of like a coconut cream, pecan, sweet potato, something like that.
Yeah, this is something like we talked about this in our very first show about cookies and cream, like the candy bars, and I think we both mentioned that we like cookies and cream ice cream, but cookies and cream flavored things, not so much. I'm just not doesn't really do much for me.
And I'm guessing this will be something that I taste and I'll be like, it's okay, but again, I would never.
I would not seek it out. I agree. So let's try this one. And I mentioned before that I'm not a big Oreo fan either. So.
No, I'm not either. I'm gonna eating it.
Yeah, it's sweet. Again, this would appeal to kids for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, this would be like a it's like overly sweet. What this would be really good in is mixed with like ice cream and a milkshake.
Yes, because I like cookies and cream milkshakes.
Cookies and cream milkshakes.
Yeah,
yes. Yeah, this is again. Yeah, kids would love this. People who love cookies and cream or like this type of cream type pie. Yeah, you know. Yeah, okay.
Is it better than the Hershey's one?
Yeah, actually it is. I think it's because of the cookies on top of it. Yeah. It is better than the Hershey's one.
It looks better.
Yeah. It does. It does. The Hershey one looked kind of like a, sad little slice of pie. Waiting for someone to pick me up.
Just YouTube the help scene.
Yes. This one is.
Is that the lemon meringue?
Yes, this is lemon meringue. Okay.
And this is also a very summery type of dessert, is it not?
Yes, it is. I like lemon meringue. Generally, growing up in the South, growing up, even though I'm not growing up Southern Baptist in the South, there was every Sunday meant eating at church. A lot of lemon meringue pies would be brought in.
And what exactly is meringue?
Meringue is the egg whites. You whip them; they get kind of cooked. So you whipped up, they get fluffed and stuff. It's meringue is basically just another just fattening way to deal with an egg. I mean, it's the white of the eggs, but still, it's just.
Well, there's mayonnaise and there's meringue.
Yeah, it's another way, just make something unhealthy, I guess.
Okay. But it's just egg whites.
Yeah.
Just egg whites. Okay. And then, like the lemon's kind of like a custard-like. Yeah. Yeah, I like lemon.
And you'll probably like that. I like that. It is really sweet, but I like this. I do like. It's sweet, but I've always find it. It's like refreshing tasting, but it is really sweet.
Okay.
And it would be good more during the summer.
Definitely.
Not definitely. It's the middle of fall, but as we're eating it now.
Oh.
But. It is definitely good graham cracker crust. Definitely better, I think, than the Oreo.
Now, I personally would just rather not have the meringue on it. I could just do it without, just like the plain custard. I don't know if that exists, but I mean, it's good.
Well, you make it. Yeah, you can make it without that. But I mean, I definitely have always been a fan of the lemon meringue pie.
It's tart, but it's not. I don't think it's really overly sweet either.
No, it's kind of it's sweeter than some of the other ones we have, but it's the tartness
it cuts
helps.
Some of that.
It cuts the sweetness.
Yeah.
And it's much better than I think the cookies and cream and the Hershey's, and definitely better than those horrendous Hostess things.
When I think of the Hershey's and the cookies and cream, it's like someone along the way decided to, let's turn chocolate. Chocolate doesn't have to be everywhere. And I think that's an example of where a chocolate pie, the French silk, even I've had chocolate peanut butter pie. And as the first show, we talked about how we love Reese's. It's my favorite candy.
Yes.
I just really don't, I'd rather just have that in just a Reese's Pieces, like a candy bar versus in a pie. But, the meringue is good. I like that one.
And I find, I don't know, I kind of divide out, to me, the Hostess and the cookies and cream and, the Hershey's chocolate. When you start doing Hershey's chocolate, not like that, to me, I divide those into more of like kiddie pies.
Yeah.
And then the other ones are more that we're going to get into are more of like I consider like the adult pies.
Adult pies.
Yes, the adult pies. Because yes, if we were to sit these out, the kids would definitely be grabbing the Hostess and the cookies and cream and the chocolate. They'd be barring away from more of the other ones that we're getting into. That's the more tartar pies.
And that's fine by me.
Yes.
I was like, have at it, kids.
Yes, go ahead.
So let's do this one.
Yes, the next one we have, I mentioned and kind of talking about the history, was one that was, I guess, invented, came up in Florida, is the key lime pie.
Mm-hmm.
It's one that, for some reason I like. I think a lot of people like. Not a lot of people generally make for some reason. I don't think it's ever people think about when they make a pie, make key lime pie.
Right.
I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Is
it hard to make? I don't know.
No, it's not hard to make. I just don't think everyone really thinks about like key lime pie. I don't really know anyone that says I don't like key lime pie.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's one of those that is at the write down your top 5 favorite pies. No one ever thinks of key lime.
But people all like it though.
I think generally, on the most part, people like key lime, but it's never like their, when they get me some key lime.
Right. Well, I love anything flavored with limes. I love lime flavored stuff. So this is one of my favorites. And then also, even though I mentioned we're going to do a cheesecake show sometime, the Cheesecake Factory also has a key lime cheesecake, which is amazing. I love key lime. So this one also has, it looks like, is it meringue or is it whipped cream? I think it's whipped cream, right?
Yeah, it's whipped cream.
Yeah.
And if you taste that with kind of the tartness, it's not that far from the lemon meringue.
Right.
It's not flavor-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good.
Mm-hmm. I like, key lime.
Yeah,
good.
That is good.
And water.
And insulin. Wow.
Oh, man. Okay, so now we're moving into kind of before our grand finale here.
Yes. We're starting to really get into my, I guess, southern roots now. This is one of my favorite pies. I generally make a couple of these a year.
So, gotta ask.
Yes.
Is it pecan or is it pecan? What do you say in the South?
I just say pecan.
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 Pecan, that's what I say too, and I'm in the Midwest.
I say pecan. I've got some relatives who say pecan.
Pecan. Anybody say pecan? Pecan pie.
That
sounds kind of dirty, actually.
Who you peeking at? These are, you make one of these, it's a lot of sugar, Karo syrup. It's
dark Karo syrup, is it not?
Yeah, it's pecans. It is not the healthiest of pies to make.
It's very dense.
But they are
extremely heavy.
Dense. Mm-hmm. And then generally, if you make one without the pecans on it, it's generally what they call a chess pie.
Although, what? I've never heard of that.
It's called a chess pie. They generally are made around Virginia.
Okay.
Or you can put, or sometimes it's called vinegar pie, because some people, to cut back a little bit of the sweetness, will put like a tablespoon of vinegar in them.
But they didn't put pecans in it?
Pecans, yeah, just take that. It's called a chess pie. It's generally just the kind of like custard thing, and they're good. It's just without the pecans. Or they'll call it vinegar pie, and there's some slight variations of the recipe. Instead of vinegar, it'll be called a vinegar pie. Which people are like, vinegar, what the hell? It's disgusting. No, they put a little bit of vinegar in it just to just cut back on some of the sweetness, because for sure pecan pie is very sweet and the filling is very sweet. So without the pecan, it's generally a chess pie or sometimes a vinegar pie. Some variations on chess pies are out there, and some recipes I've seen, instead of vinegar, they'll put a little bit of buttermilk. But it's just something to cut back on the sweetness, because pecan pies are very sweet, and they generally pecan pies kind of started around the region in the South, around like Louisiana, down like the Louisiana, Mississippi areas where they kind of started. But I love them generally on Thanksgiving. I will.
Do you think this is Jimmy Carter's favorite pie? If you had to guess, being from the South and all.
Probably that, or I would imagine probably, I'm going to say sweet potato over pumpkin, because we'll get to that in a minute. But I do love pecan pie. It's very, I don't know if I can say I've ever had a horrible pecan pie.
I think it's kind of hard to mess it up, I would think.
As long as you're dumping sugar in it.
Yeah.
You know, and you put pecans on it. It's really hard.
Golden.
It is. You know, I've had some that are much better than others, but, you know, some pecan pie is better than no pie at all.
So why is it just pecans? Like, because I love cashews. You could do like a cashew pie.
You know,
How good would that be?
And, you know, you can put walnuts in it and chocolate chips, and it's called Dixieland pie if you put with walnuts. But there's a difference. There's definitely a difference with taste between walnuts and pecans.
Yeah.
And I just like the pecan better. I don't like the chocolate chips in a Dixie pie at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really just the only the reason it's not my favorite is because it is just so sweet.
It is.
It is a very that it's when I make it, I cut a very small slice of it because it's.
Now I associate this with the fall, so like the holiday time right now. Is that not? I mean, is that true, or is it kind of a year-round sort of thing? I just always associate it with right now.
I know people that eat it year-round.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, for me, like I said, when I make it, it's for me, it's at Thanksgiving and the holidays. I don't make them. When I say I make it a couple times a year, it's like Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't generally make any other time of the year because I do kind of think of it as more of a holiday, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it's out, someplace, a restaurant that, if we do get dessert, or something like that, and they don't have something else, if I'm in the mood for dessert and they have like, we're known for our pecan pie or something, I'll certainly try it. But I've also got to be in the mood again for something very, very sweet.
It is.
Because there are other desserts.
A little of that goes a long way.
Yeah. And, we actually bought a particular brand that we had, and it was actually Sara Lee's pecan pie, which to me I actually think is overly sweet. But it's very good.
It's good.
It is.
So I know you're not a coffee drinker, but I am.
No.
And when I am eating any of the stuff, I definitely, something like that, as sweet as that is, I would definitely need a cup of coffee with that. I doesn't eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it is very good, and there's brands out there that you can get. We have to buy Sara Lee with Thanksgiving coming up. If you're not wanting to go through because they're not difficult to make. You can go online to find really any good. I recommend Food Network site for pretty good pecan pies. Alton Brown from the Food Network has a really good pecan pie recipe. Rachel Ray has a really good one. There's another chef, but she's kind of disgraced herself, so I'm not going to mention her. But I'll probably know who she is. But yeah, pecan pie is really something you really need out for. Really on Thanksgiving, it really is a good pie to have.
Have it once a year and
be
done till next November.
Yes, it really is because they are. They are an excellent pie to have. And don't take my word for it just because I'm from the South. It is just an excellent pie.
It's good. I'm not from the South, and I'm a fan.
It is.
I like it.
Okay, so now
Grand finale.
Our grand finale.
Grand finale time.
Yes, for a request that we did get. Then we'll talk about.
Crust fell apart. Sorry about that.
Yes. What's really better between sweet potato and pumpkin pie?
So, Brad and I like to think of the dumb crumb as very timely and current. So, for those of you that are watching or listening, probably all heard about the Patti LaBelle pie. That earlier, I think this week or maybe last week, a video surfaced on YouTube of a gentleman that actually went to Walmart and bought one of Patti LaBelle's sweet potato pies. And I actually tried. I stopped at 2 or 3 different Walmarts over the weekend to see if I could locate one of these elusive Patti LaBelle sweet potato pie, and I could not. Apparently, thanks to this video that's, of course, now gone viral, they're selling out everywhere. Selling out like hotcakes. But they're not hotcakes, they're sweet potato pie. So we actually have pumpkin pie that I picked up tonight before we started filming, and then we also actually have a Sara Lee slice of the sweet potato pie. Now, for me personally, I will eat both, but if I was faced with a choice of sweet potato or pumpkin, I'm going to go with the sweet potato. To me, like sweet potato in a pie is just It's damn good. And
Yes.
there's actually a restaurant that I go to that is a fish restaurant. And so they do some soul food. And the couple of things they always have on the dessert menu is like a strawberry cake, a lemon cake, and they always have a sweet potato pie. So when I am there, I always, eat the fish and the fries and all that. But then I always have to get a slice of sweet potato pie to come home with me. But if you're looking at them and you want to know the difference, we were talking about this before the show, is that the pumpkin pie is always going to be darker.
Yeah.
Or at least, from what I've always seen.
Yeah.
And the sweet potato is a little bit lighter. But yeah, sweet potato is by far probably my favorite out of everything on this particular table. So I don't know what your opinion is.
For me, we're going to try them, but yeah, for me, the sweet potato goes back, it's a favorite from my childhood. Growing up in the South, I know the sweet potato,
it's a Southern thing.
It's a Southern thing. It actually started back during, obviously people know, slavery from the South. The yam was a staple in Africa that kind of came across with the slave trade, and it was being fed, unfortunately during that dark period of our country's history. It's been fed to the slaves, and the slaves, kind of brought the yam over, and it was very much like our sweet potato, and that was something that the African Americans and stuff, they made these, made things with the sweet potatoes. And that's kind of where the sweet potato pie came from. The sweet potato, it's my favorite pie. Period. I make at least three every Thanksgiving. Because, I host Thanksgiving. We have 13, 14, 15 people, my family over. I've hosted it for years. So I make at least three of them so that I know there's going to be at least one pie left over here for me to enjoy for leftovers for the next 3 or 4 days after Thanksgiving. Pumpkin pie, I do like. It's not my go-to pie. It's a texture thing. Sweet potato pie, generally for me, I think just tastes better. It's sweeter. It's got the natural sweetness, whereas with pumpkin, you have to add in the sweetness. You have to add in the sugar. Yes, you put sugar into a sweet potato pie, but, the yam or the sweet potato, whatever you're using, already has a natural sweetness to it. It does. And it's more of a texture thing, too, for me. I just prefer the sweet potato. I know there are people out there that are like, they don't really think that there's a difference, or they prefer a or they prefer a pumpkin pie better. And pumpkin pie definitely is, they're like, well, it's a Thanksgiving thing. Yeah, it is. There are more pumpkin pie sold for sure.
I think when I was growing up, it was all pumpkin, and we also haven't mentioned this one, but the mincemeat pie was also a big popular one. But it seems like in recent years, especially over the last 5 to 10 years, sweet potato pie I think is gaining prominence, and I'm seeing it more and more now. Yeah, and so I'm glad about that because I wouldn't turn down pumpkin. But I am if there's sweet potato pie there. Yeah,
and it's it's been a thing that it's only been in the last few years that we were actually able to go out and buy a slice of sweet potato pie to have here tonight.
And now Patti LaBelle has created.
She's
created. I don't know what she has created, but she is going to have a second career.
Yes.
So bravo for her.
Getting some
residuals.
Get some residuals to Patti LaBelle.
Exactly.
Well, let's try these.
All right, so I'm gonna try the pumpkin first, which this is gonna be good. I know.
Yeah.
And I think this is where a lot of times people put whipped cream. Or ice cream, whipped cream, especially. But to me, I just like it plain.
Well, it's good. It's spicy. You can taste that for sure. It is definitely spicy. And when you're at someone's Thanksgiving house, and a lot of people I've been to for Thanksgiving, or for dinners around the holidays, and pumpkin pie is the only dessert offering there is. That's fine.
Yeah.
I never do that to people because I'm.
So you have sweet potato, pumpkin, and what else? What else do you have?
Sweet potato. Well, actually, I generally don't do a pumpkin. I do sweet potato.
Okay.
Apple. I'll generally have some various bread, sweet breads. Actually, sweet breads, not sweetbreads, not organs.
I was just going to say that. When you said that, I was like, I'm just going to clarify.
Yeah.
Which is a whole other show we might have to do sometime.
We might do some sweetbreads.
So, and does your family, do they like that? Do they like the sweet potatoes? Is it popular in your family?
Well, some people like the sweet potato, and then I'll have like an apple. Generally, I do something. Then I generally try to do something that's kind of like different. Like last year, I had a rhubarb.
What's another good one?
Which the people like, or I'll do something like I had a mixed berry one year. So I try to do something just kind of different that you don't see every year. So people like all that, and then I have like breads, and then I'll generally have maybe like some, cookies or something, or something different.
Yeah.
Just like 3 or 4 different things that people can have. From. Yeah.
So they can't complain about lack of choices.
No, they can't complain about lack of choices. There's always plenty of leftovers to send out with people. Yeah. So now let's get to the sweet potato.
All right.
I'll let you go first.
Finale. Okay. So yeah. All right. And even just when you take a bite of it, you can just kind of tell when you put it on the fork. It's just going to taste different. Oh, wow.
It's just much better. It doesn't have that, like, kind of booming spiciness that the pumpkin had. And to me, it's just much better. And I don't know if maybe when people tell me they can't taste the difference between, like, pumpkin pie and sweet potato pie, I should always ask, like, well, are those like homemade pies your family's making or something? Because to me, there's like a booming difference between the two. There really is. And I'm going to have another piece of that.
Well, I mentioned before the show that my daughter last year for Thanksgiving actually made a homemade sweet potato pie, and it was delicious. And she, of course, put some cinnamon in it. And one of the things that I also had her do was just add a little teeny bit of cloves to the pie, which I actually love cloves. It's very pungent. It's strong. People usually love it or hate it, but a little bit of that goes a long way. And it just kind of sends it over the top, and it's definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah. And we were talking something I put into mine because I have my own recipe for sweet potato pies that I add into mine, and I don't mind sharing because anything to make a pie better. I generally add into mine a good bit of honey. That I've always added in that I like. And then I make my pies. I try to make them a little bit, I generally try not to fill the pan up as much. So the pies are a little bit thinner.
Okay.
I can't tell you why. I think I did that one time and I just thought the pies were, I don't know, just tasted better maybe.
So when you talk about the honey, do you add the honey in place of like the sugar?
Nope.
Then?
No, I just do the whole thing, and then I was like, I was because I like to experiment with a lot of recipes. So I was sitting there and I had honey one time, so I just like dumped some honey in, and I was like,
can't make it bad, right?
No, I was like, I thought it tasted, I just thought, I think it tastes pretty good.
Did you like molasses or like maple syrup or something?
No, I've never tried that. I may try that this year to see what does. I know some recipes have called for molasses.
Yeah, you could vary it.
Yeah. I've never tried it. I just with a lot of recipes try a lot of different things. So
yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was really good. Now we've got a lot of
leftovers.
We have a lot of leftover pies we're going to do something with.
We are.
I guess we can get the dog in here.
I guess we can throw out the Hostess, though.
We can throw out the Hostess for sure.
Safely deposit those in the nearest receptacle.
Yes, we can. All right.
Well, I think that's our show.
That's it.
Thanks for watching.
Hope you found it informative.
Yeah. So, and hey, if any of you out there have actually been able to get one of the Patti LaBelle pies and has tried it, drop us a message. I want to know what your thoughts are.
Yes.
And I'm still going to look for one. If I can find one, I'm definitely going to buy one. But we'll probably be back next week for I guess kind of a holiday episode, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's like in a week, which is crazy hard to believe.
It really is.
So we're kind of thinking of some ideas to shoot for next week as we head into the next, I think, 4 weeks or 5 weeks for Christmas.
Season here.
Yeah, it's here. So as always, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, if anyone has any other ideas for shows, certainly let us know. And again, yes, everyone have a great week.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.